all for being here. And thanks to Brian for sharing that story. It's hard to share something so emotional, but really inspiring. Thank you. So, as Daniel mentioned, I served in Paraguay from 2007 to 2009. And one of the key things I took away from Paraguay and how to survive in Paraguay, it can all be found in this little set right here. This leather set is your Tereré set. And for those of you who don't know what Tereré is it's really the lifeblood of Paraguay. You might be familiar with this product, yerba mate. It is now all the rage in the United States, but I like to claim I knew it before it was cool in Paraguay. So, what Tereré is it is yerba mate. You put your yerba mate in your guampa. You then pour water from your termo into your guampa, and you drink it out of your bombilla. Now, the thing about Tereré is it is a shared drink. Nobody drinks Tereré alone. It's not what you want to do. So you're generally served in circles. So the server would serve the first cup, pass it to the first person, and continue to pass it around the circle until everybody is satisfied. So when you're at work, you'll drink Tereré with your coworkers all day long. Friday night with your friends, you drink Tereré. It's just what you do. And even when you're riding a bus throughout Paraguay, don't be surprised if your neighbor on the bus, a random person you don't know, invites you to some Tereré. But if you know how to drink Tereré, you are gold with the Paraguayan people. So drinking Tereré was one of the first things we learned when we arrived as Peace Corps volunteers in Paraguay. And they taught us that this would be a major tool for building relationships and just gaining the trust of the Paraguayan people. So one of my first days in sight, I was in one of these Tereré circles, and there was a woman by the name of Sarah there. And she was probably a little shorter than I am, but had this really larger-than-life personality, a tremendous laugh, this cackle that I still emulate to this day. And Sarah invited me to come visit her another time at her house. And of course, being new to the community, I took any invitation I could get. So on one day, I took up the offer and visited Sarah, and I lived in a pretty modest Paraguayan community. I was a municipal services volunteer, so my community was, I guess what you would say, middle class to Paraguay. But when I was walking down the street to visit Sarah, it was a street kind of like you see here, red dirt, and I was taking notice of the houses on the street. Many were multiple rooms made out of brick. But I noticed in the bottom right-hand corner of the street where Sarah told me her house was a house that did not fit the rest of the street. It was a really small wooden home. The wood was really weathered. It was uneven. It looked like it was kind of just thrown together. There were many gaps in the wood, and it was all held together by this tin roof. And I remember thinking, could I be at the right house? And when I got to the gate, I did this, which is the version of a Paraguayan doorbell. And sure enough, Sarah emerged from the home. And I'll never forget her beaming face when she saw me. The American girl came to her home and she said, bienvenidos, Gina. She invited me in and showed me around her home, and she took such pride in her home. And I remember looking around thinking, wow, there were 3 people that lived in the home, only 2 small beds. There was no TV, no refrigerator. There was only a dirt floor. Anytime it rained, that floor would become mud. There was no bathroom in the house. There was just this little outhouse outside. Again, uneven wood, no roof on the outhouse. And I was just taken aback by this because, like I said, my community was very modest. This really just stood out to me. And it was my first connection with somebody that lived like this. I was so in awe of this woman. And as she continued to talk on, she explained to me that she built this house herself. She actually went to a previous property and gathered all the wood she could, and with nothing but a hammer and nails, put this home together for her and her family. She was so proud of it. And Sarah was a single mom, and I really related to her from that. I was a product of a single mother as well, and she was a widow. And I just was, again, in awe of this woman that was completely so prideful of everything she had, so joyful. So we quickly became friends, spent a lot of time together during my service, and she just loved sharing aspects of the Paraguayan culture with me. She would teach me Guarani, which is the indigenous language that today is still widely spoken in Paraguay. Most of the population speaks a mix of Spanish and Guarani called Jopara. So she would teach me Guarani words, and she would also teach me Guarani jokes that were a little dirty, but they were good to know, because if you could tell a joke in Guarani that's a little dirty, again, you're golden with the Paraguayans, they love it. But anytime I would share Guarani words, Sarah would say to me, "De vale, Gina," meaning, "You're so smart." And I thought, wow, here's this woman with nothing empowering me. I thought I was supposed to be the one empowering her. And she would always invite me over anytime she made food, all the traditional foods. Gallina casera, sopa paraguaya. She would call me and say, excuse me, my Guarani is a little rusty. "Eju, Gina, jahuse shetembiu," meaning, "Come over, Gina, come eat my food." And I remember thinking, I don't want to eat this woman's food, I feel bad. I mean, there were days that they really didn't have anything to eat. Some days they would go hungry. But I knew the joy she got from me coming over to their home and sharing with them and enjoying their food. She was so proud to say that the American girl wanted to come and spend time at their house. She would teach me about the traditional dress, the alcohol that women would wear in the summertime when it was really hot. And I'm glad to say it still fits me after 7 years. But the most important thing is we spent hours just drinking tea a day, passing the guampa back and forth, and sharing about our lives, our stories, our hopes, and our dreams. On my last day in sight, Sarah presented me with a gift, and it meant so much to me because this is a woman that has next to nothing, and she went out of her way to give me a gift. And it was this little heart, and it said, "Gina, como vos, no hay dos." And that means, Gina, like you, there is no other. And nothing throughout my 27 months meant more to me than this little gift. Sure, I was able to accomplish some great things during my service, but perhaps nothing has touched me more than my relationship with Sarah that I still have to this day. As a matter of fact, I spoke with her yesterday and just spent hours laughing on the phone. It was like I never left. And again, to echo what Brian said, sometimes we focus on the projects, what we're going to be able to deliver. But I really think what has the tremendous impact are the relationships that we build with the locals. And that's really what furthers Peace Corps' mission, is the friendships and the peace that we're able to promote throughout the world. And I'm eternally grateful to Peace Corps for that, because it helped me to introduce me to one of my closest